Christian here from CK Wraps. I'm going to show you how to remove this door panel and the mirror on this Mercedes GTS. This is the exact same actually on an SLS. It's actually really hard to do. I had to do one years ago with a shop that I used to work at, Street Dreams, and we had to do this in a different way. So we finally figured out how to remove this thing properly. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to go about doing that. So we've got to go inside the door handle here. We've got to pop out this little panel. So we use plastic tools for these kinds of things. So getting in behind there and being gentle enough, but firm enough to pop this panel out. So that just pops out. Make sure we hold on to it so we don't drop it on the floor. So there's one bolt behind here. We also have bolts behind here. So this is very particular on how it needs to be removed. This actually hooks in this way and then pushes down. So we have to remove from this side first. So again, using our plastic tools, we're gonna get in there very gently. You gotta find a sweet spot and without damaging any of the material. There we go. So that's that side. We can kind of use our fingers and the tool at the same time. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we'll notice there that that hooks in. So we start on that end, we're going to snap that off. So we don't want to start at this end, we want to start at the back end. And then yeah, it just slides back in, pushes down this way, and it goes back together really nicely. So in here, we have 30 Torx. Number 30 Torx, we have 1, 2, 3 bolts. We're going to take these off. These probably won't come out until I take the door out, or the door panel off. And they're not on very tight, so as far as torquing it down afterwards goes, it's very minimal. It's just snug. So one behind the door handle here, same thing, 30 Torx. We're gonna be very careful not to damage the door handle, so we gotta hold it out. You can put some tape around the door handle if you're worried about it, but keep your fingers in between it, you should be fine. This screw will just fall right out. So I think it's pretty much there. Yep. So after this, we need to remove the door lock. This just actually twists off. It's hard to get a grip on it. Perfect, that's off. Put everything in a safe place so we know where it is. Now this is the little bit more difficult part. There's clips holding this door all the way around. Some of these clips pop off, so don't be alarmed if they pop off, hit the floor or whatever. Sometimes they break, so we have replacements to put in. But yeah, we have to make sure that we're applying even pressure and getting behind this. So what I do is I start somewhere on the inside with my plastic tool. And you can see that I get a little bit of leverage. Typically you want to start more around the bottom area and work your way up. So I'm going to start around the bottom here, and this is hard plastic here as opposed to the leather, so there's less of a chance of damaging anything. And so just getting it popped open, that's totally normal. And quick pulse. Okay. Now this door actually slides into another clip. So once we get all of these clips off, we now have to slide the door back. Okay, that's that. So the door is off. This is the clip that I mentioned that we slide into. So there's a piece right here, and that slides right over that. If we pull on that, you're probably gonna break it, so don't do that. Afterwards, we can pop this out, put it back in here and then push the door, and we don't have to actually slide the door back in. It'll be easy to access this, to remove it, to slide it back into this piece. As far as removing the wires and stuff goes, we have to be fairly gentle. I should have got a tool, but it's fine. I'll use the triangle to get these wires off. So everything's just tabs. So there's one for the speaker there, another one for the window switch up here. Got to remove. I don't want to drop this on the floor, so we've got to remove. I always leave this one on for last because that is more of a brace than anything. That's an actual wire. We don't want this door hanging off of the electrical wires. So we have to just pull this one out of the hole. So it's basically removing anything on the back of this door, so we can, actually we don't even need to do that. We can actually just disconnect it here, which is what I just noticed. Making that a lot easier. Okay, so we need to remove that. This just slides, the wire slides out of this piece from the top, and then we kind of have to pry it open a little bit on the bottom. We can use our fingers for that, or a tool, but yeah, that pops out. The door is off. So super easy as far as that goes. So I'm going to put this on a pad over here out of the way. And we'll need to pop out this piece actually. It's fine. Once I'll have to put the window up in order to access the cable, but that's not a big deal. I'll plug the door back in, put the window back up, but I want to get the rest of these bolts off first. So that being said, we're going to pop these guys off right here. These just come off really easily. Okay, they just snap back on. They're metal clips, and there's a little tab on this one that pulls out. That is some kind of a motor of some sorts. I'm not sure. It controls something, but we have to make sure everything goes back. Now the screws for the mirror are behind this piece. It is sealed on with Mercedes sealant, so if we're gentle, we can just reuse it. And this will stick right back on as it was before. And same thing with this piece. We're going to remove that. So we have most of the sealant, there's not much around there. We're going to put that down over here, face up. We won't be getting into the car, so we don't have to worry about stepping on things. Another 30 torques all the way around here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these bolts and the bolts that hold the door panel on are exactly the same, so we don't have to worry about mixing them up. Once we get in here, we'll be able to access the clips on the inside that are holding the wire from the mirror onto the panel of the car. And we need to basically just pull those off very gently with even pressure. There's actually only one in here, and then there's one, this is the mirror wire right here. The Mercedes didn't even plug that in properly because it's loose already still. I hadn't even touched it. But yeah, that seal wasn't even on there properly. This is a brand new car, so. We noticed a few things that weren't put together properly. I mean, I'm not really sure if this is assembled by hand or by machine, but we've put them back the way they're supposed to go. So anyways, so this is held on now by sealant. So we need to kind of get in behind here a little bit, and I have my blade. This is a very flexible piece of plastic, so I have my blade once I start getting this going to help cut the sealant if I need to. And again, we're going to have most of the sealant still going to be either on the door or on this panel. So I'm going to start trimming it away. And this just helps having a blade handy. Don't cut yourself. can reapply this with two-sided tape afterwards. Mercedes likes to use really gummy, gunky stuff. But as long as it's sealed off, we're good. So this is just more for not letting air into the car and unwanted elements. So we have this piece that we have to pop out. This is going to push in. That's out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to have to put the window up in order to access the wires. I'm going to take this, put it on the shelf. We're going to clean it up afterwards, reapply this. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to have to turn the car on and put the window up. So I have to plug in the door panel just for the mirror. I'm going to turn the car on first. So this is the plug for the mirror. These plugs will only go back a certain way. Cool, windows up. Unplug it. Shut the car back off. That's off. I'm going to take the door car, put it out of the way. All right. Not so easy to go through this side. It is easier to go through this side. You don't have to have terribly long arms. It's not crazy, and you can reach pretty good through here. So, like I said, this is the mirror. It's held on by a clip here and a clip here. These things are really finicky when taking them off. They don't like to be taken off, so I'm actually gonna grab a tool. So I've got two tools, a hook and this. I'm actually going to see if this works before I try the hook. But I'm just pushing down on the clips to be able to remove them as gently as possible. There we go, that's one. Like I said, these don't like to be removed. They're like a one-time deal. So we're going to try to salvage them somehow. This one's really hard to get to. Actually, maybe do it from this side. There we go. So all we had to do is push these in a little bit, and that pops out. So now we can salvage those, put them back in. They'll hold. The mirror will unplug once we get there, but we're going to leave it plugged in for now. We're going to reach through here, and we're going to feel around for that wire. The wire is going to be up and tucked away, so I can feel it, and if Andrew can get the camera in there. I've got it right kind of in there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's behind the glass. So there's a piece of glass up here on the top, and then I can actually get my finger through on this bottom part. So we're gonna take the wire, and there's a clip about right in the corner, pretty much right over here, and we're gonna pull that plug right out of there, and you'll see it once I get all of this out. So now, I've got one more clip, which is just right about, it's not this one, it's somewhere right above this plug. So, I'm trying to be gentle and applying even pressure is really important. And getting your hand on it is another thing, because this wire will actually run behind a bar. So there's a bar right in here, which is actually the window regulator, which is what the window sits in. And we have to run that, make sure when we put this back, we run that wire behind it. If we run it in front of it, probably gonna jam up the window, cut the wire, cause damage. So we gotta make sure this goes back exactly the way it was. Okay, now that clips off, that's out of the way, so everything's loose right now. I haven't unscrewed the mirror yet, so I need to lower this back down and then put it back up again, which is a pain. I could have loosened, or I could have taken the mirror off right away if I had someone to hold it on the other side, but I didn't. So we're gonna have to plug it back in and just put it back down. That one inside, make sure that's out. Unplug this again, put it out of the way. It's not that difficult to remove this, it's just more of a process. So we have 3 screws. This is a 25 Torx. There's 1 in the bottom here, 2 in the top. Not sure if Andrew can get you in there. Let me see if I can get. So there's 1 there on the bottom, and then there's actually 2 on the top there. Perfect. So now you can see those. We need to undo those completely. Make sure you don't drop these inside the window, or the door, sorry. Not sure if I can do this by hand. I need to grab the actual tool, the ratchet. Just gives me a little more leverage than what I had, but I'm just going to use this to loosen them, and then put the 25 Torx back on, and then do it by hand as opposed to using this because it's just easier. I don't want to drop the screws. So there's one kind of tucked under a seal. It's a huge pain. This you got to pull it back a little bit from the top. Cool. Let's put it back on here. Now I have, this hook tool, which I'm going to use to hook the screw and hold it while I remove it from the door. So I'm going to hold it once I get the screw out far enough and hold it against the screwdriver and pray that I don't drop it. If we drop it, then we got to go fishing. Okay, one out. I have a better one of these. I'm just going to grab it. All right, sorry for the interruption. I had to find this tool particularly. So this has a 90-degree bend on it, which is a little bit easier to hook the screws and hold on to them. So again, I'm gonna probably have to sit down here. And we're just gonna be extra careful. I'm gonna go after the one that's the hardest to remove, which is this side, so closer to this side of the door. And there's one to the left of that. The reason why I'm doing this one first is because once I start loosening the next one, the mirror is going to start to want to move around. About figuring out how to do it in a way that works for you. There we go. Okay, like I said, it's hooked behind the seal, so the head of it actually hooks behind the seal. It's kind of a pain. So these are different than the other ones. These are 25 Torx. You'll know that they go back here because there's only 3 of them. And then we got one more. Now the mirror typically won't just fall out. It's also still wired in, but we don't want to be extra gentle when we're going for this last one. Like surgery. It's okay. It's a little bit boring right now until I get the mirror out. There we go. Okay, number 3. So as you notice, the mirror's not just going to fall out. We're going to have to put the window back up. So I'm not going to undo anything yet. We're going to put the window back up and then we're going to remove all the wires from it. To save yourself some time, you can remove this window mechanism. I did it on the other side. And then you can just leave it plugged in so we don't have to keep going back and forth doing this. I go slowly with the mirror, make sure nothing's getting caught or snagged. Move this again. Now we can fish or feed the wire through. So this rubber grommet is going to have to be pushed through. Everything's going to have to be pushed through. We need to undo these 2 plugs down here that are plugged in right now. So again, they're just clipped in. These only go back in one spot. There's no other spot for them. They're very specific, so you don't have to worry about where they're going to go back. Okay, that's all undone. I get a lot of questions on how to remove mirrors and stuff like that. This is going to vary from car to car. This I just know is a really hard car, and we had issues with doing this before. So it's kind of caught right now. I'm going to have to fish or feed the wire through a little bit. Okay, I'm going to feed the wire through. It's going to have to pull the grommet and everything through between the window regulator. Coming a little bit lower down will help get all these pieces through because there's more space. So if I bring the wire down, it's actually a little bit easier. Fishing this back through is not as hard as you might think it will be. I got the other one back on already. It really took me 5 minutes. Okay. We want to hold the mirror mostly because we want to make sure that it's not going to drop. Okay, let's push these through one by one because they're going to get caught up. Okay, so it's coming along. As you can see, that's right there still, so I'm going to come lower with the wires because they're having a hard time getting through there. Okay. So everything is loose. I've got it around to this side right here. This should pretty much just come off. Okay. So we're going to feed it through. As opposed to just pulling from the other side. wiggle the rest out. And that's that. The mirror is out. I'll put this in a safe space. Now we can do a nice clean install. Put the mirror back down because we have the door handle off the car. These doors don't lock anyways when we close the door. So it's a safety mechanism. But yeah, we're good to go. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hope that helps as far as the mirror removals go. Stay tuned, subscribe for anything else you might want to see as far as wraps go. I'll try to do a little bit more on prep and removal because I know it's important to everyone. And there's only so many cars that I can cover. So anyway, stay tuned guys, thank you.